Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. This is definitely not a Wendy Williams video and I just felt like doing that. Anyway, welcome to the channel. If you're an oldie, regular, welcome back to the channel. So good to have you guys. And on today's video, we're talking a little bit about something that is well spoken of, but giving it a little bit of perspective in this case, that I really hope is going to inspire you, and it's just going to give a little bit more clarity on, you know, how to do life. So have you ever heard or seen posts or heard public figures say something along the lines of, we all have the same 24 hours?
We all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same 24 hours.
I've heard that so many times. Growing up, from a lot of people, even when I was starting my business, I'd heard that so much, and I had my own feelings around it. And I think now, after gathering the amount of experience that I've gathered and doing a little bit of life, I have come to realize that maybe we don't. Maybe we don't have the same 24 hours, but we can still maximize the 24 hours that we have. Because the honest truth is, the actual reason why we don't have the same 24 hours, and I say same because I'll explain. The main reason why we don't have the same 24 hours is because we're not from the same background, we're not from the same family, we're not from the same tax brackets, we don't have the same amount of money in our accounts, we don't have the same jobs, we don't have the same privileges. They exist. And there's a lot of things. We don't have the same friends, we don't have the same networks, we're not from the same race. There's a lot of things that shape your 24 hours. And I just want to talk a little bit about a few of them today. Not a lot, just a few of them that I think are constructive. One of the biggest things that I do whenever I have conversations is I'm always just trying to make sure that I can leave you with something to immediately apply. So we can talk about world peace all we want and all these amazing things and the ideal world, but if I'm not going to leave you with anything, I am trying to talk about it because it's just going to be a waste of your time and my time, and maybe you'll know a little bit of things, but what's next? So the things I'm going to talk about in this video are going to be able to kind of give you a map on how you can actually start maximizing your 24 hours. Now, before we get into these things, I actually noted them down on my phone. Before we get into these things, I need you to realize that you have your 24 hours. We all don't have the same 24 hours. I repeat, we all don't have the same 24 hours, but you have your own 24 hours, and your business is to just make sure that you use your own 24 hours to the best of your ability. You maximize that 24 hours to the greatest of your ability because they belong to you, and you do not compare your 24 hours to someone else's 24 hours. Now let's talk about how you can begin to maximize your 24 hours. The first thing, super important, we talk a lot about this on the channel. There's a lot of books, a lot of people preach about this, and that is time management. This is the biggest ever. If you have your own 24 hours and you fail to manage that 24 hours, you don't have your own 24 hours. Forget not having someone else's 24 hours, you don't have your own 24 hours. What's important about time management is just being able to allocate your time to the things that matters the most, and being able to get rid of the things that actually hinder you from being productive. One of the things for me over the past couple of months, I'm so much better with it now, was my phone. I was really just into my phone. I would find myself having spent 3 hours on my phone and it just felt like nothing. And I had to get to a point where I was just like, that is not great time management. I'm not doing anything productive on my phone. If I am, for instance, because I want to create content, say, okay, I need to create content and I need to find inspiration and ideas, I have to then set time aside that I call like research, and then I can be on social media looking for that specific content, but not just like scrolling and just looking for stuff that doesn't exist. And that's what we do most of the time. We freely give over our time. But what I've noticed, that is the biggest reason why we freely give over our time to all these things that demand our attention, is because we don't have a plan for our day. We don't have a plan for a week, and we don't have a plan for a month. So one of the things that I want to urge you to do with this point particularly is get a plan for a day, get a to-do list, and literally have your calendar together. Because I've noticed that in my own personal life, when I note down all the things that I want to do and all the things I need to do today, tomorrow, and within the space of these few hours, I'm more productive. And every time I touch my phone wanting to get on Instagram or wanting to get on Twitter and engage in a conversation that I shouldn't be engaging in, the biggest thing that I remember to myself is, whoa, you've got things to do. you've got this to do, you've got that to do, you've got this to do, you've got that to do. So you cannot be giving yourself this social media platform or even this person time, because sometimes it's people. Sometimes somebody just calls you while you're busy doing something and you take the call, and then before you know it, it's 2 hours because y'all just chatting about everything. And you need to just be able to manage your time wisely. I've got a lot of videos on this channel that I'm going to link down below on time management, productivity tools, and that sort of thing that would be able to help you manage your time. But for you, in order to grasp your 24 hours, you need to manage your time wisely. The second one is discipline. Discipline is important. This discipline is, I think it's generally what separates the men from the boys. So what normally happens is we talk a lot about this, what I'm going to do, and we think a lot about it. You read a new book, you're super inspired, and you're like, yay, I'm going to move from here and I am going to exercise and I am going to do ABCD. And then you do it for 3 days or a week, and then it just never happens again. Why? Because there was a lack of discipline. Or you say to yourself, I'm going to read and I'm going to do all these amazing things. And then down the road, you just stop doing it. Why? Because there's a lack of discipline. And this happens to us in a lot of areas in our lives. It happens in our relationships, it happens in work, it happens in our personal development, it happens in our finances. But what you need to realize is in order to grasp the 24 hours that you have and to maximize them, you need discipline. Discipline is waking up at the time that you said you were going to wake up. Discipline is just delivering on the promises you made to yourself. Discipline is you saying, if you are going to read 3 books this week, you better start reading them and you better go ahead. Well, not this week, this month, because that's reasonable. But if you decide that you want to do something, you need to start going ahead and doing it and being disciplined enough to still do it even if when you don't feel like it. Because I think sometimes we talk a lot about discipline when we're motivated. We talk a lot about discipline when we're like feeling ourselves and we just read the book, when you just watch this YouTube video and you're just like, damn, I'm done and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and that and that and that and that. And then it dies out because what? Motivation is like that. Motivation, it only keeps you for that moment and it then dies out as time goes. So that's why we give you tools, resources and skills and things that will be able to carry you through. That's why content creators normally would give you very frequent content so that you can constantly be kept motivated. But what you need to realize is it's not the motivation that you need. You actually need to be disciplined enough to motivate yourself on days where you are not feeling like it, because at 3 a.m. when you are meant to be working or finishing off that project because you need to deliver it the next day, because you've also already committed to other things the next day but you didn't get time, and you know when those things happen, you still need to be able to deliver. So that is super important. That is something you need to be able to be super mindful of. That discipline is number one and you need to have discipline. The third one, number 3, is resources. Now, resources is normally what separates people's 24 hours. So by resources, I mean it like this. So let's say A and B, right? A has a car and A can just take 20 minutes to get wherever it is that A is going. And B does not have a car. B relies on public transport, not necessarily Uber, because there are people that cannot afford Uber. There are people that literally have to depend on South African or Komba taxi. That is a thing. And what normally happens is it takes 20 minutes for A to get to work or A to get to the next meeting, mainly because he can just drive and he can allocate his time to driving at times where there's no traffic. It's easy for him to navigate, right? And then there is B. B over here has to take about takes like 2 or 3 to get to the same place that A needs to get to in that 20 to 30 minutes. What you realize in this situation is that with B, it takes so much time for him to get there. So what takes 20 minutes for A to do or to get to, it could take an hour for B, right? That an hour is from his 24 hours that we all have. And his 20 minutes is from his 24 hours that we have. So it's resources. And one of the biggest things that I've been so intentional about in my life is just building myself enough to give myself the resources that will give me more time through my day, more time to be more productive. So I'm talking resources like if you are a social media content creator, resources like your Later, your Canva, and sorts of things that would be able to help you schedule your posts so that you don't have to take out time from your day to start posting something all the time, especially if you want to post frequently. You know, or instead of taking the time to read because you generally don't have that time, so therefore you don't read, you get Audible so you can actually listen to books while you clean, while you get ready in the morning and that sort of thing. It's just being able to be very resourceful in your life and being able to give yourself those resources that can still keep you far ahead. So imagine this. Let me give you an example, a smart example about resources and using your 24 hours to your best ability. So let's say A, right? A, for instance, drives to work for 20 minutes. So for instance, A could probably listen to music, or A listens to an audiobook, right? He's listened to 20 minutes of an audiobook because he's generally a busy person. And then let's focus on B. B is an hour commuting. If B can get Audible, invest in Audible, and B says, okay, listen, I know that it might not take me 20 minutes to get where A normally gets to. It will take me an hour. I'm going to use this hour to the best of my ability. So what will I do? I'm going to start reading for that hour. I'm going to get Audible, and I'm going to start listening to books, an hour of a book. Or let's say 40 minutes between getting from this text to another one, whatever it is. Let's say 40 to 45 minutes of a book. What you don't realize if you are a B is that you are already using your 24 hours to the best of your capability, and not sitting there saying, I think I'm only going to be successful if I get a car because it takes. You won't. The best way to success and the best way to move to the things that you need to get to, and even to move to those resources and to move to, that elevation of getting to where you need to go, is to use what you have to the best of your ability. And the biggest question is, how are you going to do that? That's the biggest question. How are you going to do that? If you're in a position where you don't have a car and it takes you longer to get somewhere, what can you do while you're going there? If you're in a position where you can't afford these other things, how can you find free resources? There's also a lot of free resources that you would be able to use that can help you get these things that you need to get. So resources are super, 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 super important. The fourth and the last one. I really thought hard about this point, and I was just like, it is a fact. It is true, and I want to share it with you guys, and I just want us to be very cognizant of how this is the thing. And this is money. It's money. The fourth point is money. People that have more money will find ways, or can afford things that would be able to give them more time in their days to do other things that will bring them more money. Does that make sense? Whereas when you are out of pocket and you don't have enough budget, you find yourself doing all the things yourself, so therefore not freeing enough of your time. Now, this is to an extent, like the previous point I mentioned, resources, right? You have to find a way to use whatever you have to the best of your ability so that you can actually make the money that you need and get where you need to go and do the courses and learn all the things that you need to be learning. That is important. But money is a factor, you guys. And it's like people that have helpers in their homes, where somebody else is taking care of your home and is cleaning around and cooking for you while you do something else. It takes money to have that resource. But I just wanted to mention that is a thing, because that is a goal for most of us, or for me, it is a big goal to be able to afford these things that will be able to give me more time. So to get to a point where I am no longer editing my YouTube videos, but I can afford an editor. What does that take? Cash. Watch my ads, by the way. What's that gonna take? Cash, right? For me to be able to get my personal brand to a point where I've got a team, what is that gonna take? Money. But for me to make that money with the resources I have currently, I need to be resourceful, and I need to manage my time, and I need to have discipline so that I can get to that point that I want to get, where I've got money. Because money is literally, it's not the last, but it is part of the journey. You have to start with all these other, there are some people that definitely just start off with the money and then they develop all these things. It's great. But for some of us that aren't privileged in that way, we have to start from all these other things to get to that point. So the biggest question of the day is, do we really all have the same 24 hours? And my answer personally is no. But my biggest answer over that no is, you have your own 24 hours, and you need to maximize that 24 hours to the best of your ability so that you can achieve your dreams in your 24 hours, because you are from your family, you're from your background, you have your circumstances, and there can only be one you. So thank you once again for watching this video. I hope that it has encouraged you, and I hope that it has kind of opened you up to maximizing your day and your time to the best of your ability. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below, what are the other things that you can do within your 24 hours to really just up your game, and do better. What are those things, and what do they look like? Thank you so much again. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.